there! What is the worst music video that you have ever seen? Well, if you're interested, watch the following video, like or subscribe, and peace. Hello there, my name is Billy Juliana. I'm 49 years old and I have a 40-year history of dealing with anorexia nervosa, and I'm currently following the recovery methods espoused by Tabitha Farrar, Kayla Rose Katecki, and Elisa Orris. And I have to admit that recently I have not been in the recovery mood. Now that does not mean that I have not been doing recovery. I've been trying to put recovery from anorexia first priority above all else. But I've had a lot of other things on my plate, so to speak, metaphorically, and so I haven't really felt like talking about recovery motivational stuff because I'm struggling to navigate my own recovery and I'm struggling to navigate my own life. And if any of you relate, then I just want to ask you, is anybody having trouble being an adult in this world? I'm 49 and I'm about to turn 50. 50 is less than 3 weeks away for me right now. And I'm having trouble navigating life as an adult. And I just discovered this. And excuse me for all the noise. I'm in a different setting today and I wanted to make a little bit of variety, and there's going to be some traffic noise, so I apologize about that. But anyway, so I'm not really going to talk much about recovery motivational stuff because the basic message on recovery from anorexia is to get rid of restriction. It's just to get rid of all restrictions. And also not to over-exercise and not to indulge in any kind of obsessive compulsive movement. And I've given this message over and over on my YouTube channel, and it remains the same, and it remains applicable to myself, and I know how hard it is to do day in, day out. It is so easy to fall back into old rigid routines, especially when in the face of fear and in the face of stuff that we don't know and unknowns and all of that kind of stuff. So that speech aside, I just want to say bottom line is that unrestricted eating and prolonged rest are the keys to getting out of anorexia. But for those of us who are older, it just takes a long time and we're gonna struggle. But then we can also have fun, and that's why I wanted to make this video. So this video is all about having fun. And by the way, I'm going to be including some material in this video that is copyrighted. That means I don't own any of the material in this video that I'm about to show you. And it also means that I might get demonetized. Well, I'm definitely going to get demonetized. I don't care. I don't make money off this channel anyway. So I'm never looking for making money off the channel. But YouTube might take out or black out what I'm about to show you, and I fear that they might do that, but I'm hoping that because my channel is so small that they won't do it and they'll just allow it to go ahead and go on through, even though there will be a copyright claim on the video, because I'm wanting so badly to share this stuff with you because it is fun. At least it is for me. And if you're interested in music and in music videos and all that kind of stuff, then hang with me and we can maybe have a little bit of fun with this. So let me preface what I'm about to say with the background story. So back in 2018, my sister and I were talking, and it was getting towards Christmas time, and she was saying that, you know what, I think that we should do a worst music video ever contest. And I was intrigued by this because yours truly grew up during the MTV era. I was a teenager in the 80s, in the 1980s, and that's when MTV blew up. It kind of debuted, I think, in 1981, and it was an instant hit, and then it continued to be a hit all through the 80s. It kind of petered out a little bit in the 90s, but groups still make music videos to this day, obviously. And now that we have YouTube and stuff, you get to see a lot of music videos on YouTube, of course. So I do love music. If you've seen any of my other videos, you probably have caught on to the fact that I do really love music. Pop music especially, not so much country and not really hard rock, but I do just like pop music and some indie music as well. So whatever the case may be, my sister was talking to me in 2018 and saying at Christmas time when we come down, and that means my sister, my brother-in-law, and my niece, who at the time was 12 years old. She was like, when we come down, we want to do a worst music video ever contest. So what we're going to do is we're all going to choose 3 videos or so and submit them, and then my parents, my sisters and my parents were going to be the judges, and they were going to watch these videos that we had all submitted anonymously, and then they were going to judge which was going to be the worst music video ever. So I was putting on my thinking cap, and I thought, I have an ace in the hole. I think I have one that is going to turn my parents off, that they're going to go, this is the stupidest video ever. They're going to say, that is the worst. That is so, so bad. But then I also thought, well, you know what? My sister is a musician. She knows a lot of bad music videos out there, or at least ones in her opinion that didn't quite get up to speed. And then my brother-in-law is in the music industry, and he's gonna know some stuff that is pretty funny. And then my niece is heavy into music, especially current music, and a little bit on the indie side, and so she's gonna know a lot of stuff. And I was like, I think I got competition. So I thought, well, you know what? I had this one video that's an ace in the hole. I'm gonna submit a couple others, but I have this one that's my ace in the hole. So then I started thinking about the other videos that I might submit, and I was like, And so one of the videos that I submitted was a video that actually came out in the 1980s, and it's by a very, very respectable group, and that's actually one of the rules about this contest that I'll tell you about in a second here. But it's it's a beloved group. I love this song. This song is a great song. In fact, when it came out in the 80s, I'd heard it on the radio, but then I started hearing rumors about the music video being really weird and gross. And I remember back then finally seeing the video and going, ooh. But now as an adult, trying to be one, I think about that video or I watch it and I'm like, it's not that bad. It's actually very symbolic. It's kind of like, very intellectual. But still, I thought, well, I'll go ahead and submit this one anyway, just because back in the day, a lot of teenagers hated it. So we'll just see what my parents think about this. But I have an ace in the hole. So anyway, so the contest arrived. Now, the contest parameters were that all of the musicians or the artists that were involved in the contest had to be viable musicians. This couldn't be like a one-hit wonder or a joke or some kind of sarcastic thing that was made to be bad. It had to be an actual viable artist, musician, or group, and they had to be trying to make a video that was entertaining. And so that's what we set as our parameters. So these are basically videos that whiff. They were made, some of them had budget, some of them had ideas, but they were made to entertain and they whiffed. So I am going to just go ahead and play you a montage of several of the videos that were submitted for this contest. Now, because I'm making this video for you, 2 of my videos are actually in the following montage. The ones that my sister submitted, I'm not putting all of those in there because the montage is a little long. And you're going to have to deal with some pixelation and some really old footage because some of the music videos date back to the 80s or to the 70s. And the quality on today's screens is just not that good. So there's a lot of pixelation and stuff. So you're gonna have to bear that in mind. And actually we told my parents this as we were going through the contest on our own television screen. We were like, bear in mind, that some of these don't look as polished because they're older. And so you're just gonna have to get past that and just rate it for the content of the video and how you think it stacks up with the song and all of that. So that was something that they were going to have to keep in mind, and it's something that you're going to have to keep in mind as I run the following montage. And so I'm not going to say who picked what. I might put that in the actual videos, but I'm actually just going to run the montage. But I will say that 2 of the videos in this following montage of music video clips are my submissions from the contest in 2018. And I will come back on camera to tell you what the results were in this particular contest within my family. So let's just go ahead and roll tape. All right, thanks for watching.
Please don't fail me now, begging, please don't make a fool of me. Here I go again on my own. Head like a steel trap, wish I didn't, I didn't, I didn't, I didn't. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we
You lose yourself, no nothing big to say. There's no.
Well, thank you for hanging with me for that entire montage. If you're still watching the video, I am super impressed because I know that was really, really long. But I just have to say, I appreciate your watching it. I know that it was very pixelated and very kind of hard to see some of the details on some of the videos. And back in the day when those came out, they were high-end art. They were state-of-the-art. But time has kind of worn them, as it has worn me, by the way. But whatever the case may be, that is the creme de la creme of the contest. Now, we had other entrants in the contest, and like I said, because I'm making this particular video, I got to put 2 of my entrants into that montage. But these were the main ones that got responses from my parents. I mean, we laughed at several other bad ones for sure, but these were the main responses. So who nominated what and who won what and what, all of that, vis-a-vis what you just saw, okay? So this is my family and my family alone. I know that you have really bad music videos on your mind and you're like, oh my God, you needed to include that in this contest. Well, if you do have bad music videos on your mind, please put them in the comments. Let me know what you think is just awful, and I'll look at it. I can't wait. I'm having fun entertaining myself by watching bad music videos. It can be no more fun than having a good laugh at this point. So just let me know. Okay, so the very first video in that montage, the one with the bugs, the one by the group Utopia, that was my ace in the hole. That was the video that I thought was going to win me this contest. Now, I have to say that my parents were the judges, and they weren't conspiring, you know, to figure out one winner. They were each judging on their own. So we were going to have 2 videos that were going to be the worst. And there were, you know, they ranked them first, second, and third. And so there were 2 actual winners of worst video ever. And then there was 2 runners up, and then, you know, on down the line. So that was my ace in the hole, though. I thought both my parents would be like, nah, we're not having the bugs. That is the stupidest video ever. No way. And it did okay. Like, both my parents ranked that second as worst video ever. They both were like, yeah, that's pretty bad. But I have to say that in putting this montage together, I really do see the genius behind that video. And I also love the song. That song, Feet Don't Fail Me Now by Utopia, has now become an earworm. Every day I wake up and I hear Feet Don't Fail Me Now. I hear it every day when I wake up now. And earworm is just the perfect term for it. No pun intended. Oh my gosh. So anyway, big shout out to Utopia for making that song. And if you're wondering, who is Utopia? How is that a viable group? Well, let me tell you. They were a progressive rock band that started in the late 70s and then went all through the 80s and into the early 90s before they broke up. And they were founded by the great Todd Rundgren. So they are a viable band, and they had a lot of music that they put out throughout that time period. So they didn't have a lot of hits, but they were very productive. So big shout out again to Utopia. The second video that you saw in that montage, well, you're all familiar with that song. That's Whitesnake's Here I Go Again. And you're probably all familiar with that video. If you're a little bit older and you've watched music videos since you were a younger person, you probably are really familiar with that video. And that entry happened to be my sister's, because she just wanted to have a good 1980s hair band video in the worst ever contest. She chose the best. That is just flat out the best. With when you got the model Tawny Katane flipping around the car with her hair and dress and all that, and then you got the lead singer and all the other members of the band with their hair, it's the perfect hair band video. So kudos to my sister for picking that. I think that my father ranked that third worst. And my mother ranked that third worst as well. My mother could not stand the lovey-dovey stuff between the lead singer and the model. She actually called it nauseating, but I didn't even show that part of the video to you. So go check that out to see the whole thing. Okay, so then the third video that you saw might not be as familiar with that one. That is actually a song by Fall Out Boy. And I have to admit, I don't even remember the name of that song, because the name of the video is called Weekend at Pete Rose's. And it's actually a spoof of a movie called Weekend at Bernie's. And so the whole idea is that these two members of another band, it's actually two members of Panic at the Disco, Brendan Urie and his former drummer, and they find a member of Fall Out Boy on the beach, and he happens to be deceased. And then they decide they're going to take him around and do, like, you know, little Instagram photos and things like that with him. It's just a weird video. And it also breaks up the song, which is something I hate in music videos, is when they break up the song, they stop it to, like, have dialogue. And they do that several times throughout that video. And so we were watching this during the contest, and my parents were like, what is this with taking around this corpse? And it's done really poorly. The musicians are not the best actors in the world, especially the corpse. The guy playing the corpse, the member of Fall Out Boy, he's basically walking along. He's not doing his best at playing dead, but whatever the case may be, yeah, that one didn't go over too well. So shout out to my niece for picking a great entry for this contest. All right, so then the fourth video that you see there, the classic Dust in the Wind by Kansas. I can't think of a more beautiful ballad in the world. That is an absolute classic song. And why Kansas felt like it was necessary to do this appearance, I'm not really sure. They dressed up for it. Did you notice that they were wearing their tuxes? But I will have to say that when the camera focused in on the violin player and backup singer, you know, the one with the hair and the beard, you can't miss him. I hate to judge people by their looks, but I'm just going to say, my dad said this. When they focused in on him for the first time, my dad went, Rasputin. And we just busted out laughing. That was the first video that we saw in the contest, and it got us in the right mood. We were all laughing by the end of Dust in the Wind. So that was an entry by my brother-in-law. Genius entry, great job. It did not hit the first, second, third worst video ranks, but it was the entry from my brother-in-law that made us all laugh. So I have to really appreciate him for that. So thank you. And then the last video in that montage, unfortunately, it is so pixelated, and I apologize about that, but it's Yes's Owner of a Lonely Heart. And you know the song, and you might know the video. Everybody pretty much knows that song because it's a progressive rock anthem from the 1980s. But I do remember hearing that song on the radio and thinking, oh, I like this a lot. And then hearing rumors about it being kind of a scary video, and then actually seeing the video and going, what the heck? So when I was considering my entries for this contest, I thought Ace in the Hole, Feet Don't Fail Me Now by Utopia. I'm going to find that somewhere, and somebody had uploaded a janky version of it that you saw onto YouTube. You don't have a state-of-the-art version of that on YouTube. But I found that, and I entered that, and I thought, this is my best chance. And then as an afterthought, I thought, well, I'll just do Owner of a Lonely Heart, because back in the day, we all thought it was kind of weird and kind of gross. And so what were the results of the contest? Well, there were many other entrants. Like I had another entry that I didn't put in the montage. My sister had 2 others. My niece had another one. My brother-in-law had a couple of other ones. So there were other entrants, but these were the ones that scored or at least were notable. So my dad picked my niece's entry. He just did not like the idea of the corpse thing being dragged around. He was not into that. So my niece won with my father. My mom, though, could not get over the worms in Yes's Owner of a Lonely Heart. She had it. When he starts washing his face with the worms, she's like, that's it. We had fake bugs in the other video, but these are real bugs in this damn video. So, this is the worst ever. So, oh my god, I was surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, this was the one that was sort of an afterthought. And so it won worst video ever in the eyes of my mother, at least, for our contest. So we had a lot of fun. And if you have some videos that you know, music videos, let me tell you, you can put my videos down as worst videos ever. But in terms of music videos, if you have any that you think are just particularly awful and laughable, then just let me know in the comments. I'd love to know, because in this day and age, we really, really need to laugh. I know I do. So thank you for coming along with me on this ride. And as an outro, I will just say, please eat unrestrictedly, rest for a prolonged period, take care of yourself, laugh as much as you can, and hold on to that. Please send me your nominations for worst music video ever in the comments. And until next time, peace.